And the NBA, it's really hard to tell who the best coach in the league is because there's so many factors that goes into a team being good. It's not only the coach, it's the players on the team, how well they play together. There's so many factors that go into a successful NBA team. So in today's video, we're going to be trying to figure out who the best coach in the NBA is. So we're in NBA 2K19 right now, and what I've done is I've made everybody the lowest possible overall in the game of 40 overall. I've lowered all their stats to the lowest they could possibly go. I've gotten rid of everybody's badges. I've made everybody 5'4", 145 pounds, 19 years of age. This way that every single team in the NBA is completely fair. And from this, we can determine just how good these coaches are, because it's going to be all up to them to get these awful, terrible players to work together and try to win an NBA championship. So leave your comment down below which team you think is going to do the best. Which coach do you think is the best in the NBA? So there's a lot of great coaches in the league. You got Greg Popovich, you got Mike D'Antoni, you got Brad Stevens, you got Mike Budenholzer. You got a lot of great coaches of these top teams, but are they still going to remain on top when they have worse players? So let's just simulate through a season, find out who ends up winning the NBA regular season and who goes on to win the NBA championship. All right, so we made it to the end of the season, and just to show how bad these teams are, Wayne Ellington, 40 overall, Wayne Ellington, that's 5'4", got MVP with 6.8 points per game. He got 23.2 rebounds per game, though, which is pretty crazy. We don't really need to look at a lot of this because it doesn't really matter at all. What's important is the coach of the year, and that's actually going to go to Mike D'Antoni, going 57-25, and I wasn't expecting wins to be this high because of how the teams are so equal. I was expecting maybe the best coach to have at the most maybe a little under 50, but not even hit those 50 wins. So all of that, of course, doesn't matter. But let's just go over to standings. Obviously, right here, we'll be able to find out who the best coaches in each conference is. So in the West, it's Mike D'Antoni who's going to be the best coach. Again, everybody has the same team. The Grizzlies are going to be the second best team in the West with the JB Bickerstaff. Then we got the Kings. It's very interesting seeing some of these teams up here because they're not normally the best, and these coaches aren't seen as the best either. We got the Phoenix Suns up here. Then here we go. We got Greg Popovich, who has one of the best ratings in the game, but their team to do as good. We got the Golden State Warriors with Steve Kerr. Then we got the Clippers, Doc Rivers right there. And then the Pelicans with Alvin Gentry are going to be the last team making the playoffs. Utah Jazz, okay, I thought they were going to make it with Quinn Snyder. Trailblazers were super close. Luke Walton and the Lakers were just down there. We got OKC. Got Billy Donovan. Mike Malone. I was expecting the Nuggets. A lot of people say Mike Malone, one of the best coaches in the league, but he wasn't able to coach them to a NBA playoffs appearance. The worst team is going to be Tom Thibodeau and the Minnesota Timberwolves. I mean, okay, they're 28-54. Now going over to the East, Miami Heat are going to be up at the top with Eric Spoelstra. The Heat have always been a pretty good team, so interesting seeing him up there. Larry Drew and the Cavs doing very good. We got Dwayne Casey and the Pistons, Nick Nurse and the Toronto Raptors. We got David Fizdale. Wasn't expecting the Knicks to be up here. We got Lloyd Pierce, Steve Clifford, and then James Borrego. I'm not really too familiar with some of these teams' coaches, but 76ers not making it in there. I guess right now it's supposedly their team that is really good. We got the Indiana Pacers, Chicago Bulls, Kenny Atkinson and the Nets not doing too well. The Wizards and the Bucks with Mike Budenholzer do not make playoffs. They're actually the second worst team. Same with Brad Stevens and the Celtics. So two of the coaches that are seen as the best in the league are not up there at all. I don't know if there's really any other factors in here. Well, this is just the way we're doing it. So let's just hop into the playoffs right here. And we're just going to simulate the whole thing and see who ends up making it to the NBA Finals and ends up being the winning team and thus giving the record to the best coach of the year, because all these coaches had the same team. All they had to do was help them win. A lot of them couldn't do it. So I believe it was Mike D'Antoni who won Coach of the Year. Let's see if he's able to perform in the playoffs, and they do make it on from the first round. Raptors eliminated. We got the Heat still moving on. Some of the top seeds still up in here. Some of the top seeds also getting taken out, though. Okay, so the Knicks are eliminated. It's going to be... Okay, so Pop actually gets eliminated by the Rockets with Mike D'Antoni. That was a really close game. So we got Mike D'Antoni versus Steve Kerr in the West. Then we got Eric Spoelstra versus Steve Clifford in the East. Which teams are going to make it on? Let's simulate the current round. Mike D'Antoni taking a big lead in the West. It looks like he might actually get a sweep, and he does. And then who's going to make it in the East? It is going to be Eric Spoelstra in the East. So our two top seeds both making it in. Mike D'Antoni versus Eric Spoelstra. I think Mike D'Antoni is going to win this. I mean, the Rockets have just been cruising through the playoffs. I mean, they had 2 Game 7s, but they destroyed the Warriors, and the Rockets are going to win. Eric Gordon with Finals MVP, a 40 overall. But there we go. According to 2K, when we gave every team in the NBA the exact same team, we made it all fair. All it was how well coaches were able to coach them, put them in the game, play together. It looks like Mike D'Antoni comes out as the top coach in the league. Let me know in the comments down below. Do you think he's actually the best coach? Do you think another team would actually do better at coaching these awful players? I thought it was Greg Popovich. I thought he's going to do very good as well, because traditionally the Spurs haven't always been seen as the best team with some of the players they have, but then they end up just being crazy good. But anyways, that's going to be it for this video. If you did enjoy it, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'll see you next time. Peace.
Never in the same space that we started at. Throw the ball, I run the play like a quarterback. I've been up all night trying to make a stat, trying to get a plaque and flip a dream into a solid fact. Hustled hard for it. One day they will notice. Chasing in the day.